r/short scary stories. The staring man. I work for a coffee shop, so I wake up early like every day, 3:30 am early. I know, it sounds crazy, but you get used to it. Today, however, was different. I take public transportation. Usually a bus and a train. If I want the scenic route, it's 2 buses. Sometimes it can be a little weird. It's an odd hour of the day. You either get people going home from the bars or folks like me who work ungodly early. Well, this morning I got on the train and my skin prickled. I look down the cabin of the train. No one. Then over to right end. There's a man there. He looks homeless, very thin and gaunt. And he's staring at me. Legit staring. His dried, cracked lips are open, and I can see inside his mouth 2 teeth on the brink of falling out. If there's one piece of advice I can give you about public transportation, it's pretend to be oblivious. So, I go and sit down, and the train starts moving. I'm only 2 stops north, but I can't help but glance at this man. Our eyes link. His expression hasn't changed. He looks like he stepped out of The Walking Dead. Thank God we arrive at my stop and I get out. I walk through the station and get to the bus stop. Then I see him. He's standing in the shadow by the wall, his head tilted like a dog, staring. My heart starts to beat faster. I notice my breath quickening. I swear he didn't get off the train at my stop. I'm about to go into full panic when the bus squeals to a halt in front of me. As you can imagine, I'm on edge on the way to work. But after a few hours I forget about the staring man. It was so early and I was probably half asleep. I bet I exaggerated the whole thing. Then I see him across the parking lot and under a tree, staring, his ragged clothes draped around his skeletal body. I start to hyperventilate. I can't. His eyes, milky and blank, staring with that agape jaw. I run to the back and my supervisor asks if I'm okay. I lie. I finish the rest of my shift keenly aware of who is outside the store. The staring man doesn't appear again, to my delight. The bus trip home is fine, no staring man. The train ride is fine, no staring man. Even my walk home is staring man free. Finally, I get back to my apartment, lock the door, and for the first time feel safe. I fling open the curtains and get a drink of water, turn on the TV, and take off my uniform. Then I see him through the window, across the street, staring right at me. I really don't want to go to work tomorrow. r/short scary stories. The knocking. Thump, thump, thump. There it was again. The same time every night and always right above my bed. At first I believed that it was my upstairs neighbor, but after the few awkward encounters of me waking them up at 3 in the morning, I refused to believe it would be them. I was tired of it, so I did it. I finally did it. I knocked back. At first this seemed to work, but then it got worse. It started, there was a knock on my window, then a knock on my table in the living room, then everywhere around me, I heard the knock. I just wish I didn't know Morse code. r/short scary stories. Kif is scared of a lot of things. I got a new dog, Kif. Kif is very friendly, but he's scared of a lot of things. When I walk him, he'll stop and stare if anything weird suddenly appears. But I learned that he'll start walking again if I just say what he's looking at. A couple nights ago I was walking him and he stopped and looked down a street. I looked too. It was a neighbor kid on her bicycle speeding out of a driveway. It's just a kid on a bicycle. Kif looked up at me like he was agreeing with me and went back to walking. After some time, Kif stopped again and looked across the street. I peered across the street, but I couldn't quite make out what he was looking at. It was something small. It's just a squirrel. Kif didn't move. I looked again. Or maybe it's a rabbit? Kif looked up at me like he agreed and went back to walking. After another block he stopped again and looked behind us. I looked too, there was nothing there. It's just the wind, I said. Kif didn't move. It's just cicadas? I said. Kif didn't move. It's just a ghost. Kif looked up at me and went back to walking. r/short scary stories. Come back to bed, honey. I can't sleep. I'm staring at the ceiling watching the fan's blade slowly rotate. I roll to my side and see my wife fast asleep. My eyes start to grow heavy as I drift off to sleep. My breathing begins to get slower and the world starts to fade to sleep. I feel some time pass. There is a loud thumping sound from downstairs. My eyes pop wide open. I still hear the thumps from below. I quickly stumble out of bed, grabbing my phone and pocket knife to go downstairs to go explore the source. I often hear random disturbances at night. I live in a neighborhood that many would call a bad neighborhood. Crime is not uncommon here. I begin walking down the stairs. I can see where I'm going because we keep a downstairs light on every night. The light softly illuminates the shadows from the kitchen. The entire time I walk, my ears are listening for any disturbances, for any sounds that are alien. I turn the corner at the bottom of the stairs that leads into the kitchen. No signs of life. Our old grandfather clock ticks methodically in the background, as it does every night. I make my way to the back door and glance out the window to the back porch. As I flip the floodlights on, illuminating the backyard, I see a quick dash of movement. An animal scutters running from the light, a raccoon. I let out a sigh of release. For some reason I feel on edge, but I can't find anything out of place. I go back upstairs and get back into bed, the fan blade still spinning. I begin to start falling back asleep. In my sleepy haze I feel a weight lift off the bed. I roll over to face the bedroom door. I see my wife go to the bathroom. The light slightly shines through the crack in the door. My eyes begin to get heavy again. I see her figure walk back to the bed. I feel the pressure back on the other side of the mattress. I start falling back to sleep. I notice the light's glow is still on. "Honey, I think you left the light on," I say mildly in my half sleep. "What? Did you say something?" I hear her voice from the bathroom. Adrenaline surges through me. I'm not longer feeling asleep. My hair stands on my neck. I'm fully awake now. I still feel the pressure on the other side of the bed. My breathing begins to pick up a little as my body tenses, preparing myself to turn around and look. My mind flashes back to the disturbance from earlier in the night. There is pressure on the bed. Who is in bed with me? Thank you for watching. Like the video and leave a comment if you enjoyed. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter and Reddit, and join the Discord so you never miss a video.